Hello, everyone. Welcome to OGT Live, coming to you from California, Oakland, California. We have a very exciting guest. In fact, this is a guest I've been trying to get on our show for some time, so I'm really excited and really happy to have him with us. I am lighting up in honor of our show tonight the UC10, Undercrown 10, which is different from the normal Undercrown blend. We're going to get into all of that. This is a special event-only Bellicoso Vitola of it, though. Incredible, incredible cigar. So, as usual, it's not just me as the host on this show. Also, please put down in your comments questions that you have for our guest or for myself. In fact, this is a sort of conversation altogether. There'll be three people tonight. One will be Cara from Drew Estate. She's my rep out here in California. And then also the one and only Pedro Gomez will be joining us tonight. Very, very special lineup. And for such a special show, we have some really awesome deals coming. However, before we begin that, I would be remiss if I did not mention we have something really exciting also dropping in a couple of days. If you have or have not seen our promotion for our St. Patty's Day exclusive, that is going to be dropping in 2 days. So make certain you do not miss that limited cigar. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. If you have not seen this yet, make certain you subscribe to our YouTube channel because you'll get this video that you're about to see, as well as many other great, amazing videos coming forward. So take a look. This is our St. Patrick's Day exclusive called Bleak Midwinter.
Take a little walk to the edge of town and go across the track where the viaduct looms like a bird of doom as it ships and cracks, where secrets lie in the border fires and the humming wires. Yeah, man, you know you're never coming back. Wrap you in his arms, tell you that you've been a good boy. He'll rekindle all the dreams that took you a lifetime to destroy. He'll reach deep into the hole, heal your shrinking soul, but there won't be a single thing that you can do. He's a god, he's a man, he's a ghost, he's a guru. They're whispering his name through this disappearing land, but hidden in his coat is a red right hand. You don't owe no money, get you some. His shadow is cast wherever he stands. Stacks of green paper in his red right hand.
All right, guys. So that is our St. Patty's Day exclusive that is coming in 2 days. A Nicaraguan Puro dropping in 2 days. Don't miss it. Bleak Midwinter. But enough of that. As I see we've got the chat box open, please drop down your comments what you're enjoying tonight, what you'd like to ask of our guests this evening. And without further ado, help me welcome some awesome people in the cigar industry that I have had the opportunity to meet. And with that also comes our awesome deal. This is our Drew Estate lineup tonight. This is a 10-pack. Save over 30% off on some of the best Drew Estate cigars they have to offer. 30% off this 10-pack. You get an extra patch, a cutter, a lighter, as well as a mystery Drew Estate cigar. This is available on our website, so head on over to OGT. That's where you're going to find it. You're going to get an amazing deal. Stock up your humidor with some of the best blends by Willie Herrera, Drew Estate, and Hoya. and make certain you take advantage of our deal tonight. So without further ado, our guests that I will be introducing, we have Cara from Drew Estate and Mr. Pedro Gomez. How you guys doing tonight?
Hey.
We are doing very good. How's everybody feeling up there?
Doing well. Thank you so much for the opportunity and jumping on OGT Live. Finally, we're able to make it happen, so I'm really excited.
No, we are very excited to be with you, brother. First thing first, we want to thank you for giving us the opportunity. For me and for Cara, it's beautiful to be in your show.
Thank you so much. So those watching, we're going to get into this. We're going to get into the sampler we have, but please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you get a chance, please share the video so that we can have this great interview we're about to have, as well as cigar education be even furthered to the next level. So Cara, I don't know if you are lighting up anything tonight, if you're enjoying a cigar tonight. What is it that you're smoking?
I am lighting up one of my go-tos, the Herrera Esteli Lonsdale.
Very
the
nice.
Habano. Yeah, tried and true. This bad boy here is literally, when you speak to Drew Estate people, they're mainly, one of their go-tos is the Habano from Herrera, from Willie.
It's the OG, OG Herrera.
For sure. Yeah. I haven't smoked it lately. I've been smoking a lot of the Hoya CT.
Yeah.
Literally, I've been smoking so much of that one, and I was, let me light this one up again, And this is actually from an old school box that my buddy Sammy got me for my birthday last year.
There you go.
One of the old blend, not blends, not a different blend, but just the old configuration and stuff. So yeah.
Awesome. And Pedro, what are you enjoying tonight?
I'm smoking the Herrera Esteli Norteño. This one is a very nice Maduro cigar, medium plus, I will say.
Okay.
Where we use San Andres Mexican wrapper. We use fillers from Honduras and Nicaragua, and this one was the second release by the man himself, Willie Herrera, when he joined Drew Estate.
Okay. Awesome. And I have to personally thank you for this Bellicoso UC10. You gave it to me at TPE. As usual, UC10 is always at the top of my list. Like, probably my favorite Drew Estate cigar that you find in the core line. It's just absolutely wonderful.
Thank you so very much, man. Thank you so very much.
No,
yeah, for us, we use that cigar, the one that you're smoking. It's called the Undercrown 1020. Is the Bellicoso side that is not available in the regular Undercrown 10, because that one is only available when I'm doing events or in-person events. So, but for me, bro, if I ever had the opportunity to share a cigar, I always like to share something special, Every cigar I is special.
Definitely.
And it's up to you. When do you want to find the time to smoke that,
And so, Pedro, where are you broadcasting from? Are you in Miami right now?
Yes, I am live out of Miami. And yes, so basically those are one of the few days that I'm right here at home, because most of the time I am in a cigar lounge somewhere in the country, or maybe in an airplane, or maybe in a hotel,
Yeah.
You know how the road life goes,
Yeah. So I kind of want to get into a little bit of your inception into the cigar industry. However, before we jump into that, if you could give your really quick explanation, whether you want to say log line or synopsis of what do you think sets Drew Estate in the cigars and as a company apart from so many other companies in the industry, because it definitely has its own footprint. What would you say sets you guys apart?
Dude, that's a very deep question. Man, I love this interview right now, Coming with hardest question like that, man. Well, first thing first, I want to thank you the fact that you are that you acknowledge Drew Estate, and the fact of the matter is that we as a company, we make different type of cigars, premium infused cigars, non-traditional cigars, and a traditional cigar. So in the Drew Estate world, I will say in a very humble way, we have cigars for everybody out there. And in terms of our brands, I will say that they speak loud and clear, especially when you have a handmade product that is, we do our best to come out with the cigar with a very consistency and very high quality. In order to achieve that, you have to have an amazing team in the factory. You have to have an amazing team right here in the United States.
Yeah.
And in terms of our brands has a reason to exist in our brand of portfolio. At the end of the day, like I told you earlier, there is so many great cigar companies up there with great cigars. And at the end of the day, the person that has the last word is the end consumer, because you as a cigar retailer, you buy from Cara and you buy the stuff that sells, as well as you buy from other manufacturers, But at the end of the day, the end consumers dictate what you're gonna carry in your cigar store.
Right. And there's something special when it comes to like the Liga line, UC10 line. There's that, like, everyone is always saying, even like Nica Rustica, they're like, it's just smoked so much. There's a satisfying like smoke output. It's kind of the signature of Drew Estate on a lot of fronts. Right. And then that's coupled with, of course, flavor. It's kind of funny. Even if you were to unban something like this, you can kind of see by the way it smokes, oh, that's a Drew Estate cigar, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, what every cigar up there, Eric, one thing that we as a cigar manufacturer have to acknowledge and have to be our priority number one is that the cigar have to have a very good construction.
Yeah.
That means that the cigar have to have a very easy draw. It has to have a very easy combustion. And then after that, that would be up to the person that is smoking that cigar, if that cigar meant to be for his or her palate, because everybody has a different palate, At the end of the day, we do our best to bring something unique of everything that we make, and therefore it's going to be something very unique in the market up there,
Yeah. So, and also, I don't want to put you on the spot either, but curious of your thoughts. This is kind of like asking, like, which is your favorite child? But let's say here's our 10-pack lineup of cigars. And Pedro, if you were to say this is probably my daily smoke or my go-to out of this 10-pack, what do you find yourself normally gravitating toward?
Dude, I will go for the Underground 10.
Yeah,
it is amazing, bro. Because when we released that cigar in 2020, that was by far our biggest release of that year, and Underground 10 has been performing like a champ. Because the cigar has everything that everybody up there, especially people that smoke medium to full body cigars, they're gonna find a pleasant cigar that is going to really fit the appetite that you have to smoke a premium full medium to full body cigar. The cigar has an amazing thick, rich Mexican wrapper right there. You're also gonna find broadleaf binder, which is the same tobacco that we use in the Liga Privada number 9. And the filler is 100% from Nicaragua. So what you got left, Eric, is hot Mexican chocolate from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
So what about you, Cara? What will be your go-to?
Yeah.
To that beautiful selection of cigar that Eric is pointing to everybody right now.
Out of that lineup, well, there's 3, honestly. I'm a sizist at this point in my smoking journey. So like I said earlier to you guys, Hoya CT, literally I've been smoking it nonstop. It's one of my favorite cigars, but I really love to smoke the Lonsdales, the Corona Gordas, the Lanceros or whatnot. Yeah. So even though I love like the Nica Rustica Nica Adobe and whatnot, we don't make it in those sizes. So I smoke it less,
Yeah.
The Norteño.
Yes.
Some of we unfortunately discontinued a couple sizes, but that bad boy, the Hoya CT, and then of course the UC10 and that short Corona Gorda, literally like smoke those nonstop all the time. So yeah,
definitely. Well, and honestly, after the show, on the far left of our lineup is the Gran Reserva from Hoya. I hadn't smoked it until the show. That is a banger of a cigar. Really, really good.
Yes.
And it's something I love about the Drew Estate profile is that you can find strength. Like normally I enjoy like a medium plus type of strength to it, but you can find strength really well balanced with like a lack of harshness. It's also got a smooth element to it, which kind of plays both sides of that. And it's very satisfying for someone who wants a stronger cigar, but it also is accessible for people who smoke lighter cigars. So it's pretty awesome.
Yep. You're talking about the complexity,
Mm-hmm.
the smoothness, how well balanced the cigar should be.
Yeah.
Everything plays out, the type of tobacco. Obviously, Willie is the expert when it comes to blending, but how you put all those different tobacco leaves together,
Mm-hmm.
you give it some time, and then you start to see what the final result is going to be.
Yeah.
The priority of the factory will be to have that prototype, making it the same cigar. The people are going to have the same smoking experience a million of times.
Mm-hmm.
That means if the Underground 10 was released in 2020, God knows the amount of cigar that people have been enjoying of that particular cigar line.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, you're going to have a cigar that could have a future, especially in this competitive market that we got
Yeah.
going on with the premium cigars.
Yeah. Yeah. So kind of with that, and as our market kind of changes, we've seen a lot of changes happen in the industry. And Pedro, what kind of got you into the cigar industry with landing with Drew Estate? Like what's the kind of the origin story where you started?
Well, I was born and raised in Esteli, Nicaragua.
Okay.
Since I was a little kid, I always knew that there were buildings with a lot of bicycles up there, so upside. So I knew that it was a cigar factory. Before I entered into the industry, I spent like 9 years making saddles for horses. I
Okay.
graduated from a public high school in Esteli, Nicaragua. I got the opportunity to get a scholarship, full scholarship, to come and study right here in the United States. The major that I applied was international commerce. Therefore, the program was available only in Iowa. So I was living in Iowa for 2 years. I
That's gonna be
learned
a
the language
culture
over
change.
there. I still working on my English because English is my second language. I graduated and then I went back to Nicaragua looking for a job. I went to every single cigar factory having a job, looking for a job. And
Okay.
my last hope was this little small cigar factory in downtown Esteli, which was Drew Estate. And I started at that in the factory in 2006. Right around that time, we were renting out 11 different houses, residential houses, in order to run Drew Estate as a cigar factory. So you can think about it like, in this house it was the production floor, another house it was the packaging department, another house it was the
Wow.
packaging warehouse, and another house was the tobacco warehouse.
Now were
accounting
these
department was in the kitchen.
Yeah, no, exactly. Were these houses like in close proximity to each other, or were they spread out?
They were all spread out. Like I would say,
Okay.
my city is not a big city, but in distance wise, I would say like 5 minutes driving, from one place to another place.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that was crazy, man. So when I joined Drew Estate, basically I was running the errands of the factory. I was doing whatever they asked me to do, and I knew that, when I saw, the how big the industry is in Esteli, I
Mhm.
knew in my heart that I want to build a future with this. So
So,
I, Mhm.
oh, sorry, I was going to ask, like, you coming back from the States to Nicaragua, did you just know, like, the cigar industry is something I want to get into, or was it because you wanted to stay in Esteli and you want a stable job? Like, what was kind of the thought process there?
You know what? That's a very good question right there. I would say, when you're in Nicaragua, obviously you don't have the resource to go
Yeah.
and live in another city. So basically, my hope was to find a job in Esteli and help my family, because
Okay.
when you come from humble beginnings, the only thing that you want and the only thing that you need is having a job that can support your family.
Hmm.
So I was very lucky that Drew Estate Factory was, back in the old days, was like 3 blocks away from my mom's house. So I
Yeah.
was going to the factory at 7 a.m., leaving the factory at 5 p.m., and just hoping and giving all my best,
Yeah.
everything that I could provide to the factory. And then as year went by, to right now, I'm going for 19 years.
Wow.
And so I spent like 3 years being the operation manager assistant, that gave me the opportunity to learn the ins and outs, how the factory runs. And even before we were in the main facility that we got nowadays.
Okay.
And then right around 2008, they gave me the opportunity to run the tourism department, which is Cigar Safari. Right
Mhm.
around that time, Jonathan Drew, the founder of Drew Estate, was giving the tour. So I was learning from Jonathan
Okay.
about, another thing is about how to get things done in the factory. Another thing, how to present the factory to end consumers and retailers.
Yeah.
I got the opportunity to learn from Steve Saka, that back in that time, he was our CAO. I got the opportunity to learn from Nicolas Melillo, that nowadays he has his own cigar company. It's called Foundation Cigar.
Yeah.
I got the opportunity to learn from Marvin Samuel, the co-founder of Drew Estate as well. And then after 2 to 3 years, they gave me the opportunity to run the tour by myself.
Yeah.
And I always knew that, one thing is about having a plan, and another thing is about being disciplined about it. That goes
Yeah.
way, like, super deep of beside having a plan.
Okay.
And then the opportunities start to come little by little. And 3 years after running the Cigar Safari tours, they gave me the opportunity to run the international sales. Back in that time, we were just selling cigars right here in the United States. And then they gave me the opportunity to open distribution in other countries. And right around 2013, Jonathan Drew gave me the opportunity to come and work for Drew Estate right here in the United States. So
Okay.
basically, they brought me here with a work visa. 2 years after, they gave me, Drew Estate sponsored my green card. And
Okay.
last year, thank God, I got the opportunity to become an American citizen. So it has
Awesome.
been a beautiful journey.
Congratulations.
I mean, it has been beautiful because God is good.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. Definitely.
God is good, brother.
You know what? I have a question for Pedro, actually. I
Yeah.
obviously know Pedro's story very well. I know his
Wow.
background very well through the years of working with him. But one thing I've never thought about or asked was, at that time when he came back into Nicaragua, was looking for jobs at factories or whatnot. You get a job at Drew Estate. At that time, 19 years ago, obviously, there were more established factories and manufacturers in Esteli, in Nicaragua. What made you want to be or stay or just keep flourishing with Drew Estate at that early stage? Like, what was it that you saw or felt within Jonathan and Marvin and the whole team down there that you were just like,
Wow, that's a beautiful question, Karen.
oh, thank you.
One thing that I learned was that when I first went, the first day me going to Drew Estate Factory, I saw the culture and I saw the vibe within the team in those little places. And
Okay.
I saw that friendship, and that partnership with everybody. I was like, man, this is really cool. Then month along the way, Jonathan came to Estelin. So I got the opportunity to meet Jonathan through Nicholas. And Jonathan said to me, oh, so you are the new kid. I was like, yeah, I'm here, whatever you need, sir. No, don't worry. Just come with me. We're going to go inside the factory. And then I saw Jonathan shaking everybody's hands, hugging everybody, kissing everybody. And the fact that I saw him doing that, and I knew why we have that culture at Drew Estate Factory. At that point, I said, if I'm going to work for somebody, I'm going to work for this guy.
Okay.
I'm going to give all my best, not 100%, 150%. Because at the end of the day, life is about seeing an opportunity. But if you are smart enough, you will see that that opportunity brings sacrifice. But when you don't have nothing to lose, you go with everything. Let's see how far we can go.
Right. And I think a big part of that, as you're saying, like that opportunity and being smart enough to take it, it's also like trying to have that wisdom of which way to go, because those often are leading questions of like, you can either go down, you can go before door A and door B. Which one are you going to take?
Right.
And I mean, it's similarly when we opened up our shop in 2019, like my wife and I definitely felt like this is where we're being led to. This is what we've got to do. And then 5 months later, COVID hits and we have to shut down. But as you had said, Pedro, God is good. We get through it. And it's growth from there. And I think the misconception I feel like is because Drew Estate is such a big player in this industry. The misconception is that Drew Estate sometimes is like, oh, they're the bigger corporate side of cigars, but there's so much behind the story of starting at grassroots and starting to build that. And I feel like in so many ways, your own story emulates what Drew Estate did, which is really, really cool.
Thank you so very much for acknowledge that, Eric. I would say, a company that where you can find a soul in the heart.
Yeah.
Soul in the heart will be reflect in the handmade cigars that we make. And even though the people will say, oh, Drew Estate is big, Drew Estate is that, we have never, ever lose the age. We have never lose the vision. Why Drew Estate is the reverse of cigars.
It's family, like
and
at the end of the day, like it's truly a family vibe and feel, like obviously when I came on, I don't mean to interrupt you, Pedro, but with everything you're saying, all I can think of is family. And I started in 2016, so 7 years going on 8 years or whatnot, or 2016, sorry. The transition was happening at that point. Things were changing and whatnot. But even from that point to this point now, all these years later, it is truly such still like internally like a grassroots, a family. Like we all know each other intimately. Everybody in our headquarters, like it blows my mind how they treat you. It's a corporate world out there, right? But they still treat you like family.
That's right.
It's crazy to me. It's crazy to my husband too. Honestly, he's always telling me, "I can't believe
it is
how
crazy.
the company is." So
yeah. Well, and
obviously, we have to give all that credit to Jonathan Drew, because without him giving us the direction, you say something very interesting right there, Eric. One thing is about having a goal. By having a goal, you have to have a plan. But within the plan, you have to have a direction where to start and where to continue. This is where a lot of people might lose track. And at the end of the day, you don't have to forget what you are doing this and what is the reason behind. For us as a company, our reason is to come out with the best Nicaraguan cigars up there for people to come and enjoy what this cigar community is all about. Because if you do it for the money, well, you're gonna be losing a lot of fucking money. Excuse my French. You're gonna be losing a lot of money. But if you do it because you love it and you have a passion for it, the money and success will come after. But I tell you, it will come.
Right.
First thing first about finding what gets you passionate about it. When you do something with love, bro, no matter what, things are gonna work. Even though that early on it could be very hectic, it could be very bumpy, the road and stuff like that. Nobody told you all the good things happen because everything is great. No, you have to find ways to make it happen. And obviously you have to have a very good thing. What Cara has brought to Drew Estate, it has been amazing, Cara. Seriously, I'm telling you this one right now. Cara, she knows, how to everything that takes to be a territory manager, and she has the biggest territory in the company, and she has been doing an amazing job at Drew Estate. So everybody plays a major role, and at the end of the day, everything is reflected by the most priceless thing that we can take. Me and Cara is when somebody comes and said to us, "Wow, man, I love this cigar so much." Or, "Wow, man, I had an amazing cigar with this brand. I had an amazing smoking experience with this cigar." Those are the things that money cannot buy. When you see that happiness, that gratitude from people. So me being from Estelí, Nicaragua, that's something that I'll always take it to my heart. And that's why we always work and thrive as a team. Because, a championship is not won by one player.
Yeah.
A championship is won by an amazing team.
No, definitely. And it's funny how you said, like, if you're just in it for the money. Terrence Riley of Aganorsa, he's a friend of mine, and he always makes the joke, if you want to make $1 million in the cigar industry, you have to start with two, basically. And
He's a good friend of mine, and he is absolutely right.
Yeah. And no, and one thing I'll also attest to that is, so I mean, we carry many different brands, and primarily we have a lot of boutique companies. Some companies in the past which we don't carry, and I'm not going to mention any names, but we'd go to a show and I would go up to their booth and say, "Hey, how's it going? I'm so and so from Oakland Tobacconist," and then they would be like, "So wait, do you carry us?" And when I actually went up to Drew Estate, this is like when we were just like kind of in the peripheral. We weren't really carrying a lot of Drew Estate, just a little bit. And I went up and shaked your hand, and you're like, "Hey, Eric, how's it going?" I was like, "Wait, what? Like, how do you remember me?" And so again, that's kind of a testament to the way the company is and the structure is. So it's really cool to see in action.
Man. No, we kind of can tell you better. We appreciate everybody that does that do business with us. Everybody. And a retailer doesn't have to be the biggest for them to have our support, not our attention, our 100% support. Because everybody at some point starts somewhere. Just the same story as Drew Estate. Drew Estate started in a little kiosk at the World Trade Center in New York City. Jonathan, being from Brooklyn, he went to a third world country in the mid-90s. Back in that time, going to Nicaragua in the mid-90s was the country not to go. Seriously, because the country was coming out of a civil war. The country didn't have the infrastructure, like good roads, hotel stays, restaurants and stuff. It was a sad scene to see. But with Jonathan having the vision, to build not just a company that not just to build a big cigar factory, but to do it to build a beautiful, gorgeous cigar factory. And most importantly, never lose sight of how to treat his employees. By treating them good, brother, everybody, Drew Estate Factory in Nicaragua is run by Nicaraguans. The only person that is in the thing that is not from Nicaragua, that he travels a lot to Nicaragua to blend and to create new stuff, is Willie Herrera. And Willie Herrera loved working with the team. Obviously, he loved working with Cara when he is traveling, in the West Coast, doing cigar events, because you kind of see everything from A to Z. And as anybody else up there, everybody has a humble beginnings, Everything is just based to what do you want to build and who do you want to build that with.
So right now, just so I kind of know, I know that Willie Herrera blends most of the stuff. Does he blend like the vast majority of Drew Estate stuff, or is he mostly just on the Herrera Esteli side?
He blends everything. I mean, just to tell you a quick story on behalf of Willie Herrera, who is a great friend of mine, a great mentor when it comes to tobaccos and blending all the stuff. When Willie joined Drew Estate was in 2011. We were thinking to expand our traditional portfolio of brands, but we want to do it right. And by Jonathan finding Willie Herrera in Titan del Bronx, which is a small little boutique factory right here in Miami. Jonathan offered him the opportunity to come and join us. I remember when I met Willie, he came to have a tour at the factory, and he came with Sean Williams, who is a good friend of mine. He is the ambassador of Cogida. And at that time, Sean Williams has his cigar brands that it was called Tercer del Mundo, I believe. And then 3 months after Willie was coming to Nicaragua, and he started to work with the Herrera Esteli Habano. He ended up blending around 75 different blends. Wow. And out of the 75 different blends, we picked the one that is available in the market nowadays, and that cigar came to the market in 2012. And then, 2013. And then from that point on, he blended Norteño. Then 2015, he was part of blending the Underground Shade. And then right around that time, Willie Herrera became our master blender. So Willie, besides blending new stuff, he also oversees the consistency of every single cigar that comes out of Drew Estate Factory.
Now, I know that, especially in a company that big, I mean, as you were saying, everyone has their own role. Everyone has their own, like, the kind of niche and department they're working on. Have you ever been tempted to try blending a cigar yourself, or is that something you don't want to touch?
You know what? That's very interesting. I would say that me doing the cigar safari tours and learning, everything from all these guys, everybody have, when it comes to blending, everybody have their own style. So
Mm-hmm.
what I was doing in the cigar safari, I was teaching these people. I was leading the blending section. That
Okay.
means that we were putting out 12 different type of wrappers, 12 different type of binders, 18 or maybe 20 different type of fillers, and people were putting, it's not that you, it's by knowing the basis, and also when it comes to blending, it's about exploring and doing things, retweaking things, using the same tobacco, using different proportions, and
Mm-hmm.
then you're gonna land into something amazing. And
Okay.
when you land into something amazing, one thing is about doing the cigar safari tours. Everybody got 10 cigars of their own private blend.
Mm-hmm.
The best rollers in the factory are the one that makes that cigars. And but when you're talking about blending a product that is gonna be a regular production,
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about everybody have to get involved.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
have to bet and get involved with people that, let's say, in the tobacco warehouse. If we have enough tobacco that will uh, give us the opportunity to
Mm-hmm.
have that cigar as a regular production,
Right.
that means that you have to have thousands of that particular seco,
Right.
thousands of that particular piso, thousand of that particular ligero, and then binder, and then grapper, and then having the capacity in the factory of people that are gonna be bunching and rolling that cigar, and everything just goes like that
Mm-hmm.
because of the stuff that we have at Drew Estate Factory and the aging cold room. Man, if I'm telling you that we got more than 1,000 blends that they will never ever gonna see the light, you'll be like, man, you are kidding right now. It is a huge wall of thousands of different prototypes that they will never gonna see the light. And everything have to do and what is the capacity that we have.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what we do, and that's what a company should do,
Mm-hmm.
having everybody in the same page.
Yeah.
But come
Yeah.
back to your question, I would say, life is about opportunities, and everything happens in the right time. If the opportunity like that comes around, I have been ready. I will always gonna be ready, but I will never gonna ask, because that's why we have Willie Herrera, who is our master
Yeah.
blender. He
Yeah.
does an amazing job. So I have mad respect for Willie and the knowledge and the experience that he had. And people up there could see and experience what I'm talking right now when they have the opportunity to cut and light and spark a cigar from Drew Estate.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing I want to add to that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Pedro,
Mhm.
when it comes to Willie's blending and the testing and the tasting of his blends or whatnot, we have a US team, which people change within that, who will sample these cigars and give their feedback on what they think might work. But I am pretty clear that Willie works very closely with some of the warehouse heads that run the warehouse when he's blending. Their input is of the most importance of what comes out of our manufacturing warehouse.
Oh yeah.
So they definitely it's definitely Willie's magic, but it's like a whole team of people who have a say in like what might work, what might not work, and where we go from there, kind of a thing. So,
Absolutely, yes.
and one
Basically,
thing I want to say real quick, when you do go to our cigar safari, this thing drove me crazy. Every time I was down there blending cigars, I would be texting Willie, and I'm like, tell them to bring out the Brazilian binder, He's like, we can't. And I was like, why? I don't care. But he was like, Kara, we will not bring it out because it is the Liga binder. So
Mm.
you get all these different tobaccos and all these different selections and variations of different tobaccos you can utilize. But when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to a specific binder, you do not get to sample that one and try to blend a cigar.
Absolutely. It's
It
very
might
interesting that
change, but
when Cara said, all the different binders, all the different tobaccos. So, Eric, in the Drew Estate factory, we use tobaccos that come from different countries. And then just
Yeah.
to name the countries where we import tons of tobacco, you're talking
Mm-hmm.
about countries like Brazil,
Mm-hmm.
Ecuador,
Indonesia.
Indonesia,
It's one of my favorite
Cameroon,
binders.
Dominican Republic, Honduras, the United States, a lot from Nicaragua, from different regions, different farms. And basically, out of those, we don't have a tobacco farm. What we do have
Right.
is that
Right.
we have relationship when it comes to our tobacco suppliers. So when
Mm-hmm.
we buy big. Because the
Yeah.
thing is this, when you are working as a manufacturer,
Mm-hmm.
it's not about the brands that you're going to put up there. It's about how much tobacco you have to buy. And you have to buy forecasting that you're going to sell the cigars that you are
Right.
currently making it right now.
Right. Right.
So the window, the wiggle room that you have to screw it up is very, very little.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you
Yeah.
already have compromised a lot of money to buy the best raw material
Mm-hmm.
up there.
Right, right. No, 100%. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and pull up our lineup again tonight. So this is our 10-pack lineup, which is a sampling of some of Hoya de Nicaragua, as well as Willie Herrera's best blends within the core line, including that 20-acre farm, which is somewhat hard to get a hold of right now. I'm smoking the UC10, incredible cigar. And honestly, it is one of those like sweeter San Andreases. A lot of people use Mexican San Andreas out there with a lot of pepper, a lot of like strength and punch. It has that strength, but really good elegance. This is on our website at 30% off. It includes a patch, a lighter, a cutter, and an extra Drew Estate mystery cigar. So not a lot of these available. Make certain you head on over, pick up yours while they last. An incredible deal on amazing Drew Estate cigars, like the ones we're talking about that Willie Herrera has blended. So fantastic stuff. And I'm about into the second third. You can see that ash right there.
Oh man,
Insanely
you
good.
see it.
And that is something I will say too, because I know, as a lot of people probably have heard, we're in sort of a broadleaf shortage. Like there's always that broadleaf issue, whether it's price, scarcity. And so it was really cool to see the Undercrown 10 made with a San Andreas. But it smokes so beautifully. Like I've always said, like you got Liga 9 up here, and then you have like Undercrown 10 right below it, and then you have the normal Undercrown in terms of just like, for me, overall, like just like elegance and sophistication and complexity. So I can't say enough good things about the cigar. It's fantastic.
Thank you, man. One thing when it comes to our cigars, there is not such a thing when you, let's say that you're having a conversation with your buddies and then you put the cigar down for quite some time, maybe a few minutes, and then you come back and the expectation that you have, Eric, is let's see if this thing is lit. And the
Yeah.
cigar is lit.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. You don't have to relight the cigar, And for our end, it's based on the quality of raw material that we use. It's also based on the fermentation process that goes with our cigars.
Mhm.
And if everything is based on how pleasant that cigar is to your palate.
Yeah, no, definitely. So something I did want to talk about, because it's been kind of on the like the everyone been talking recently when Drew Estate comes up, is the blackened cigar. So
Mhm.
that was a new blend that was released, and I can only imagine, like we do exclusive drops and such, and you always have that like stomach clench or worry, like hopefully it's well received. What it's like to blend a brand new cigar, especially working with Metallica on it, and to see the reception. Now, of course, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's going to be amazing. But what was that whole like journey like?
Well, for us, the Blackhead, it was 2 years in the making to have that cigar out and available for everybody up there.
Yeah.
And marketing, which is in the marketing department, we have Jonathan Drew. And within our marketing department, we have in our team around 10, 11 people that works, and everybody have different responsibility.
Yeah.
So for us, it was a big deal. It was a huge milestone to come out with a cigar Maduro to the core. And why Maduro to the core? Because every tobacco that goes into that cigar is a black tobacco. Basically, the cigar is medium to full. And when we smoke a cigar and we know that the potential that the cigar has, everything have to do how we brand that cigar. Obviously, when it comes to Metallica, check this out. If Blackhead wouldn't be Blackhead, let's say there wouldn't be another cigar with a whole different name, not a collaboration type of thing. That cigar will be performing hot as it is performing because the cigar is good.
Yes.
People when they buy a cigar for the first time, they just want to see, yeah, you know what? Let me try this cigar from Metallica that everybody's talking about. And then when they say, holy smoke, the cigar is so dang good that you forget that it's Metallica. But when it
Yeah.
comes to Blackhead, Blackhead is a American whiskey that Metallica owns that has been blended by the master distillery Robert Dietrich, and basically was Jonathan, him, and James Hetfield, the lead singer of Metallica. And this guy, James Hetfield, has been smoking cigars since the 90s. So for us to come out and put a cigar up there, guess who's gonna be the first one that is going to smoke that cigar down? It's gonna be James Hetfield himself.
Yeah.
And he loved Maduro cigars, medium to full. And when it comes to that one, you know, the presentation is beautiful. It has beautiful story, the story between Black and American whiskey, the deep story, worldwide known brand, I mean, rock band, Metallica, then Drew Estate. So everybody's name is in the line. And the beautiful thing about that cigar as well is the price point. So it's a cigar that everybody could afford to enjoy. And that's why Blackhead is a regular production.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about that cigar, I was afraid of it at first. You know, when we heard everything about like the blending and what it was, obviously, you know, black tobacco is very heavy, double Maduro, blah, blah, blah. I was like, this is going to kick people's butt, you know? So I actually did not smoke it until I got my hands on the Corona, and I've only smoked the Corona. I was so surprised because it's so rich and so bold, but it's so smooth. And it's kind of like their music, you know what I mean? Like honestly, like it's so bold, and their music is so bold and heavy, and but it's smooth and it just kind of flows. Like, and me and Pedro did a couple events recently up in Washington, and he asked everybody that was smoking it, what is your feedback? What is your take? And the first guy and I was sitting there thinking it, and the first guy that spoke up, he goes, smooth. And I was like, you took the thought right out of my head, because it blew my mind, because it literally is so bold and so rich and so complex, but it doesn't like kick you in the teeth, you know, which a lot of, you know, these heavy Maduros do.
Well, and no, definitely. And kind of as we were saying that I feel like that is a lot well represented through the portfolio of Drew Estate, having those bolder, richer flavors while having this like palatable strength level, which is really cool.
That's right.
And something that I enjoy about it, you know, you've seen a lot of celebrity cigars in the past, and unfortunately, the only thing it's got going for it is the name behind it, not the blend itself. So
the blend itself.
I feel like there are a few blends recently that have come out from certain companies that have some kind of celebrity attached, Blackened being one of them, where it's just, the cigar by itself is amazing. And so it stands alone as a blend, which is really, it's refreshing in a way to see in the industry.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful, man. Now, if we take what you guys said, what you guys said right there, you know, every leaf that goes into a cigar have to be at their best point. That means that the tobacco have to be extremely ripe, the right fermentation level, because if the cigar is too young, that means that you're gonna have the harshness in your throat. If the cigar has been over fermented, that means that it's not gonna be no strength, no flavor.
Yeah.
So when it comes to our thing, as I always say, you know, our strength in Drew Estate is, well, besides the leadership that we have right here in the United States, the leadership, the entire company, the amazing job that the territorial managers do, what we do in the marketing department to launch a brand and to have a marketing infrastructure for that brand to succeed. But the last word comes from our factory.
Yeah.
Everybody plays a role, to the point that when the production chief goes to the tobacco warehouse and he starts to pick all the different bells that have to go to the production floor that day. Those bells have to be ready, extremely ready to go. And how he finds out, he starts to burn one leaf at a time, get the aroma, see if the combustion lasts for more than 5 seconds. The aroma, the flavor, leaf by leaf from every single bell, based in the production plan that we have for that particular day.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's so much that goes into it. And I only imagine how much it becomes, like, as you're saying, that window, that margin of error gets smaller and smaller the bigger the company is. And keeping that integrity behind the blends as well is what's really important. So
absolutely.
As this has kind of progressed, how was 2022 for you guys as far as a company, and what do you foresee potentially for 2023?
So 2022 has been an amazing year. I mean, was an amazing year for us. We did very well in terms of adding some changes. The changes from last year is that we discontinued certain excuses, certain cigar lines. That was a very painful decision to make, but it was the best decision to make for Drew Estate Factory. Because you as a retailer, you dealing with back orders. Cara doesn't want to deal with back orders, So that put us in a beautiful spot. And another thing, the brands that we released, this year being 2023 has been amazing year so far. 2 weeks ago, we were at TP. I saw you there. Cara was there as well. And, we had an amazing show. For us, it's not just bringing the noise. It's also about to re-enhance and enhance our business relationships, and also bring something exciting. A new thing that we have as a product presentation was the Cubarity, which is 2 acid Cubas and a free undercrown shade right there in that presentation right there. It's a product that is going to be available for everybody up there. So, and we got other things that we are going to be launching this year. So at this scale of Drew Estate, we are not just working for the new stuff that we're going to be releasing this year. We're working on stuff that we're going to be releasing next year and the year after. So everything, when you get to this scale, everything is about thinking ahead of the curve. There you go. That's the Cubarity right there.
Of course, the Bovita pack is covering up the shade on the one I grabbed, but whatever.
So we have amazing stuff going on, and at the end of the day, everything that we do it with the help of you guys. Eric, you are always part of the equation. You are always going to be part of the equation, because for our cigar brands to succeed, we need to have that partnership that comes from you guys, and how that partnership reflect in the overall picture of Drew Estate is about the amazing job that Cara has been doing with her accounts. So when we go and do events, I travel with her once a year, and everywhere we go, when it comes to our cigar events, all of them are big events, successful events, when we got a lot of people that they are willing to come and spend the hard-earned money in a product that they believe wherever they're buying is the right product to buy. And that's why we have those amazing swag that goes with the deals, and everything compromise everything, because having a swag, you have a guy that is a big fan of this, and then he had a hat. Forget about cutters and lighters, all the different swag that we have been putting up there, but everything is based how the marketing department think and visualize things and how things are going to work. Besides having all that kind of stuff that is going to help the brand succeed, we also come out with amazing experiential events. One of them is the Bar and Smoker that happens right here in the United States. And then another one that hopefully in the future we're going to open it up is going to be the Cigar Safari Tours. So everything plays a role. Even the fact that people, when they go to a Drew Estate event, let's say this one, of course, OGT Cigars, based out of Oakland, California, people are gonna have that experience, what Drew Estate is all about. Because for us, every end consumer that walks into that door matters. That means not the guy that comes and buy a box. Every single one. Even if the person who doesn't want to buy a Drew Estate cigar, you know what, man? Take that one for free. The only thing that I need to know is, what do you smoke? You smoke mild cigars? Well, we got it. You smoke mild to medium? We got it. You smoke medium to full, we got it. You smoke full body cigar, we got it. You smoke infused cigar, we got it. Non-traditional cigar, we got it. I just want you to try one of us.
Yeah.
By that guy having the first cigar from Drew Estate for free, guess what's gonna do after? He's gonna buy more.
Yeah.
If the cigars that he's buying is getting consistency and quality, he's gonna buy even more. So at the end of the day, how we have built Drew Estate, we haven't built Drew Estate by the amount of containers that we move out of Nicaragua. We haven't built Drew Estate the amount of master cases. We haven't built Drew Estate with the amount of boxes that we sell to you guys. We have built Drew Estate one cigar at a time.
Yeah.
And when we keep that one cigar at a time, guess what? Things are gonna happen.
Definitely. So you bring up something important with all the events. I mean, a lot of people know about like the barn smokers and such. And this is something I like to ask some of like the manufacturers and cigar blenders and such. What is one of the most interesting situations you've had at an event, whether it was positive, whether it was negative, whether it was just different? I've heard a lot of different stories. What's one of the most interesting like occurrences that you had?
Let's give that question to Karen, and I'm gonna have my 2 cents. Go ahead, Karen.
I honestly don't know that I have a shoot from the hip answer to that. You know, I'd have to really like think about it. If there was any weird occurrence, it was some shit that I did. What we're not going to talk about, you know. I would have to really put some thought into that. I've never been asked that. I've never thought about it. But obviously, Pedro, he had his lighter stolen a couple of years ago. Right, it was your lighter. Give his MNF lighter back. But yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about that, Eric. I'll actually get back to you on that.
That's a very good one. I would say, you know, from on a positive note, I would say when people have never smoked a Drew Estate cigar in the past and they say, you know what, man, this is what I like, surprise me with something. And that person said, man, this is an amazing cigar. And to me, you know, I am a fair person. I always say, hey, you don't have to buy the deal. Just get a cigar. See if the cigar talk to you. If the cigar talk to you, then you come and talk to us. Yeah. And then the guy after that, he comes and, you know what, I'm going to buy a box. And, you know, you talking the situation like that happens to new cigar smokers because they are trying to find something that they enjoy. And, you know, for everybody out there that they are new to the cigars, I will say I always take the time to listen to whatever they have to say and listen and see out of everything that we have, which one will be a very nice suggestion. Yeah. Then right after that, the person have to do his or her own homework that go after the ones that kind of fit in his palate. And that will be, in a positive note, something that I can add to that question.
Okay. Yeah, actually, with you saying that, a couple of years back when we launched Acid 20, for me, that cigar, obviously, you know, acids, you know, it's the evil, you know, of everything in the cigar industry, but you can't live without it. So I was at a cigar event and we just had launched the Acid 20 and a guy comes up and he's like, I'm going to buy a box. And I'm like, are you sure? You know, and I was explaining everything to him because for me, and I think most people at Andrew Estate, it's the transitional cigar because when you light it up, you're going to get that infusion. You're going to get that sweetness. You're going to get that spice. But once you get into it, the tobacco takes over and the infusion kicks to the background. So this guy comes up. He's like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to buy a box. I said, okay. So he buys the box. He goes back. He lights one up. And then he comes back up to me. He's like, you know what? Can I return this? Can I exchange it or whatever? And I was like, of course. But do me a favor. The cigar you're smoking, keep smoking it. Give it a chance, you know? And he's like, okay, fine. And so he goes, he sits down. We exchanged everything for him. And he came back. And he was like, you know what? You're right. That sweet, that spice, that infusion kicked to the background. And that San Andreas Maduro heavy, like, you know, darker tobacco took over. Yeah. So for us, for Acid 20, you know, I always tell people, just give it a chance because if you're an infused smoker and you want to get into the traditional side, or if you're a traditional smoker and you might like that infusion every once in a while, that's your cigar because it's not going to be that very bold infusion that you get with most of our acid cigars or, you know, some of the other cigars out there on the market. It's a beautiful thing, you know, within our market. So
no, for sure. And I think I've had actually, oddly enough, several times people have asked me at my shop, they're like, how is it that you can say like, oh, this is a really good cigar, this is really good when they're so different and you have your own palate? And what I've kind of told them is like, yes, I have like a sweet spot for myself, my like go-tos. There's certain tobaccos I absolutely love, but what we have on the shelves in our humidor, I feel like are the best expressions of those tobaccos within the industry. And of course, that is a personal preference to some degree, but that's why it's on the shelf. Is that you don't want to have that cigar to where you're like, oh yeah, you want to look for something that's, I don't know, Corojo. Well, I'm going to recommend this. I think it's a not good cigar, but I'm just going to push it.
Right.
And that's the same thing, whether it's acid, whether it's under deadwood, whether it's all those, it's like different expressions of those tobaccos are the better versions of what might be out there on the market.
Now, let me ask
Absolutely,
you a
man.
question, Eric. When it comes to your lounge
Mhm.
and you bringing a new product and whatnot, say you try a new cigar and you absolutely hate it, but you know your customer, like it's for your customer.
Mhm.
You bring it in because there's so many retailers, they bring stuff in that's for them, not
Mhm.
necessarily their customer.
Right.
And that's like one of the things as a territory manager over the years, you're constantly kind of fighting, you know?
Mhm.
So that's my question to you, honestly.
Yeah. No, it's really in whether you're a manufacturer, whether you're a shop owner, your most important base is your customer base and their opinion. And so, like recently, we brought in some of the Drew Estate Cigarillo tins. I personally can't smoke a cigarillo. I don't enjoy them. I don't like the size. It's just too awkward for me. But we gotten so many requests to say, you know what, we should bring them in. And so there are. I personally don't. I don't have a palate for infused cigars. And now California, you can't really carry them.
Right.
But something like the Deadwood series, something we can still carry. It's still not my palate. It's just too sweet for me, but it does
Mhm.
exceptionally well at my shop. And again, if I'm going to recommend something more flavored, I definitely see that blend as one of the better expressions of a sweet cigar.
So let me ask
So
you a question.
yeah,
Have you ever tried the Cuba Maduro?
to this day, I've only smoked one acid cigar.
Okay. So for me, I'm with you. You know, they're too rich, too sweet. Some of all of acid cigars are all over the board with what they present to the palate.
Right.
One thing I have found, and this is me, this is my palate. When it comes to the infusion, if it's a darker wrapper, it kind of mellows out the infusion. It's still there, obviously, it's still prominent, but you get such a richness from the tobacco itself.
Mhm.
It's not as wild on your palate as the regular Cuba might be.
Yeah. No, definitely. And that's a part of a lot of times I've heard this advice given. It's what we try to give to a lot of our customers, and it's what we try to live by as well, is try everything. Have the opportunity to try many, many different things, and not once, but 2 times at least,
Absolutely.
because that cigar
Yeah.
can perform differently.
You know,
Yeah.
just added to that argument right there, which is very interesting. I smoke not just everything from Drew Estate, I smoke everything from everybody else.
Yeah.
And you know, I have the opportunity to enjoy great cigars from Dominican Republic, amazing cigar from Honduras,
Mhm.
amazing cigar even from countries that they don't commercialize their product in the United States, which is Cuba, and a lot of cigars from Nicaragua.
Mhm.
But when it comes to cigars, brother, it's like music. Nobody is a music engineer, but
Yeah.
we do know when the sound is right.
Right.
So we do know
Right.
when everything, when it comes to that cigar, is good. I give you that amazing smoking experience, and you say, "My man, this is amazing. This is really good." You know what? Man, if I'm gonna go up there and buy this one, you know,
Yeah.
and just to rotate something different. So to me, you know, I'm always open mind, as you say,
Mhm.
Eric.
Mhm.
Cigars, man, so many varieties up there. Everything is about being open mind. You will
Yeah.
never know what's going to surprise you. And
Mhm.
even the stuff that you have seen it over and over, and you never had the time to go and grab it and smoke it. Once you do it, you will be like, wow, man, the amazing thing that I'm missing with this one, because if the cigar is in the market, if people are buying that cigar, they are buying that cigar for a reason. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
And that's what the beautiful thing when it comes to cigars. You know, cigars are for everybody up there, especially people that want to experience what the cigar community is all about.
Mhm. No, definitely. And it's funny because even UC10, when you guys released this blend, I smoked it from a friend giving it to me. And for me, like out of the Undercrown line, the original, the Maduro's not my favorite of the 3. And I was like, yeah, well, I've had Undercrown. And they're like, no, you got to smoke this. I was like, sure, okay. I've had the Maduro though. And I was like, whoa, this is something like very, very different. And it was just such to my palate. And it's awesome when you have those moments of like maybe judging a book by its cover, you were like, no, it's not a bad cigar. It's just not my palate. And then this is a different blend and it just knocks your socks off. So
Yeah.
That's right.
One thing I could share before I worked with Drew Estate was when they launched the Shade. And at that point, I was so excited that Drew Estate was bringing a Connecticut to the market and yada, yada, yada. And I read a review. I read one of these blogger reviews where, he's mentioned graham cracker and this and that, I like to hike and camp and do everything outdoorsy. So my brain immediately went to like s'mores, the whole thing.
Yeah,
And so I was expecting to have this like crazy, creamy, like, just like beautiful experience. Right. And I went to my local store here and bought 5 of them. And I smoked one and I was like, there's no graham cracker. There's no marshmallow. Cause that's what I'm thinking,
Yeah.
there's no creaminess to this. There's a bite. I don't like it. I tossed it. I licked the other one. Same thing happened. Finally, the third one, I said, Kara, take that review out of your brain.
Yeah.
And smoke the cigar and experience it, because in that cigar, there's a criollo. So it adds a kick. There's a white pepper in the background. Once you get a third into it, it's a mild to medium cigar, but it has a little bit of a kick to it. So I always tell people, whether they're new, old smokers, whatnot, you read these reviews, you have a take on what you think you're going to experience. Your palate is obviously not that reviewer's palate. So even if you smoke a cigar and it's like rated number 1 and you hate it, I always tell them smoke it 2 times, 3 times. And it depends on what you eat as well,
Yeah.
So like for the Shade, obviously that was a whole experience for me. And that was my first take on like, whoa, because we, as a new cigar smoker at that time, you're reading reviews. You want to see what people are saying, who has the high rating, what are you going to experience? And that's where you go when you walk into a lounge. Hey, I saw this in Cigar Aficionado. I saw this here, but I always tell people, you can read those. Yes, obviously do, but smoke it a couple of times, experience it for yourself, put that out of your brain, and really experience that tobacco. So
yeah. Well, and a lot of times people will get a hold of something rare. Let's say it's the H99 or the T52 or something like that. And they'll be like, when is the best occasion for me to smoke this cigar? Normally I tell them, honestly, the best occasion is just when you can give it the time it deserves and you don't have a lot of distractions. I mean, you save it for a graduation, you could save it for an anniversary, but honestly, as long as you're not distracted, you can just sit down and enjoy the cigar. That is the time to have the cigar. You can really enjoy it.
Which could be every day.
Yeah. Exactly. Well,
every day.
I want to thank you guys for jumping on tonight. It's been a blast hanging out with you guys. And one more time, I'm going to bring up our lineup. If you haven't seen this yet, this is our 10-pack lineup. 30% off, over 30% off, as well as a patch, a lighter, a cutter, and an extra Drew Estate mystery cigar that will be added to this pack. So don't lose it. Don't sleep on this. Make certain you pick up your Drew Estate pack. Kara and Pedro, it's been awesome having a cigar with you guys and talking Drew Estate.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much,
Eric,
Eric.
so much.
Really
Definitely.
appreciate it. For the people up there, go to oakglentobacconists.com, get that sweet deal because it's a beautiful selection right there. And then you're going to experience with everything that we have been talking about, all the different cigars that we have created in the last 27 years. And for me, Eric, I want to thank you for giving us the time. And it is a pleasure to be with you tonight.
Awesome.
And I can't wait to see you and to visit your store. And hopefully it will be very soon, my friend.
Yes. We'll get with Kara and we'll make it happen. We got to figure out when to have Pedro out. So
absolutely.
Pedro, thank you for taking the time. I know you're in Miami, so it's kind of late there tonight for you. So I thank you for joining us and obviously, doing what you do.
It's all my pleasure. So thank you so much. And everybody that has been tuning with us. My man Sammy, Michael, Robert. Hold on, let me look. Chico
all the
Ray,
riffraff.
Michael Hill. Let's see, everybody that has been tuning with us. So I just want to thank you, Darren. Thank you so very much. Everybody up there, Ken, and everybody. So thank you so very much for your support. Thank you so very much for this amazing time that you give us to tell you what Drew Estate is all about, but most importantly, what our cigars are all about.
Definitely. Awesome. Well, you guys have a great week. And thank you all for joining on. We'll see you guys next time.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Eric.